Okay, Madam Chair, today's debate is not a debate on pragmatics because we want to show you why it is very good for government to take very key decisions that will shape the state. That is very important in today's debate. The society celebrates moral uprightness by several means. By giving them high places, example, religious organizations, placing them in high offices in religious organizations. Also, leadership positions, like you cannot be a chancellor in university if you are not perceived to have high level of moral standard. So the society already places these people high. In even some cases, there are some recognitions. The United Nations, what to do is like give them ambassadorial positions and make them peace ambassadors and place them in a very high level because the society expects that the society should be like the society expects morality from members of the society. That is very, very important in today's debate because we want morality to dwell in our society. Now, some of these moral upright virtues or like characters that we think are very moral, that are very important in today's debate are things like trustworthiness, integrity, braveness, strong will, respect, and obedience to the laws of the state and the society. Those are very strong virtues that we think some people that die actually die with them, and the society is in dire need of some of these things, considering the fact that there are other more immorality taking place in the state. Now, anti-moral agents have more incentive to act. Why? They have more incentive to act badly. We'll tell you why they have more incentive to act badly. Because they have selfish reasons that may be detrimental to the state. So when an armed robber wants to act, what he thinks of is his personal reasons, what he thinks of how to get money for himself. He does not bother what happens to the person he's going to rob. So these people do not have the restrictions to guide them. Secondly, that there are no boundaries to limit their actions. People that have moral virtues, people that have moral uprightness, have their integrity to protect. So the fact that you protect your integrity limits you to the actions you will take. But in this other hand, people that do not have this moral uprightness do not have the limit. So they can take actions regardless of whatever the case may be because like they do not have limits to which their actions can go. Now we also tell you that morality is relative. We must very, very take this very importantly. Morality is relative. Now these guys may come to tell us that there is no absolute definition for morality. We said yes, morality is relative. So when people in the Western world define something as moral, they understand what moral uprightness means. And characters, traits, some of those virtues displayed there defines their level of morality in the Western world. We know what moral virtue or moral uprightness means in our own society. So yes, so let the society set the characters they think are moral characters and moral virtues. That is also very important in today's. Now also, why does government have the right to act? What is the legitimacy of government to act in this sense? Firstly, we tell you there is a comparison, there's a fight between morality and immorality. And slowly, immorality is winning the fight. Just as I told you, however, they do not have any restriction to act. But in the case of moral, people that have high moral uprightness, they have an incentive not to do these things bad because they are bounded between their moral virtues, so they cannot live their moral virtues. But in these other hands, it is winning the fight against people that are moral because they do not have limits to what they can do. Now, government wants a good state. Government wants a state that has people, most of its citizens, that have moral uprightness, that would abide by rules of the state and ensure that there is mutual coexistence between people living in that state. Because the moment morality leaves the state, people cannot even live together. That is very, very key in today's debate. So government has the legitimacy to act to restrict people from doing things and getting what government thinks would be of better interest of the state. If I go on, let me get you so you stop disturbing me.
So the argument of morality comes from outside. Because for you to say, why is it moral for an individual to harvest the innate traits and characteristics of an individual to sell to someone who is presumably rich?
Okay. Mr. Chair, we are not talking about harvesting this to sell to somebody that's rich. We must also clarify in today's debate that we won't go to somebody and harvest his trade and go and sell. In cases where we see that people that have moral standard based on the society's definition of morality are dead, that is where our contest lies. So when people die, instead of dying with their moral trait, instead of dying with their moral uprightness, we think it is very legitimate for government to go there, dig out this moral uprightness these people have and use it to sell and have a better society. How would this be done? We do not want a case where government will be very authoritarian and probably when somebody dies, government will just go to this person, probably harvest this stuff and go without consent. This opposition bench, please stop, you're disturbing me. Opposition will come to run consent as their major argument and morality. We've showed you how morality is relative to societies. So let society define what their moral uprightness means. Like, let the society define that, and when they get those parameters, they harvest from people that are dead upon consent. Now, how would consent be gotten? We do not think that government will want to be authoritarian to go and harvest this stuff. Government will actually seek consent. You cannot seek consent from somebody that is dead. We place this our argument, our debate on people that the society has defined morally upright. Please sit. The society, the state has defined morally upright. So if these people die, should we allow them go with their moral uprightness? That is what we want to prove to you, that we as government should act in this case. So we tell you that we'll get consent from their families. Because dead people cannot really give consent to whether we can take this. So to the extent where we still get consent from their families and like pay them hugely, we think that to this extent we have actually gotten consent, because we cannot get consent from these individuals, and while they are alive, they cannot act on consent. Though we may even go back to pragmatics of how do we want to get consent from everybody that lives on earth. That is very, very important in today's debate. So also we tell you that would people be interested to buy? Maybe they will also come to run that analysis if people would have the interest to buy. Firstly, we tell you that government selling this thing will be at almost no cost, because government knows why. Now, why government has to sell it is because if government makes it free, issues of corruption, issues of inefficiency in distributing this stuff would exist. But if government places it at no cost, what happens is even the very poor like have access to this stuff and they can buy. Now, that is very, very important. Secondly, people with some good ones still want to get others. So because I have integrity, I may lack braveness, I may lack like other moral uprightness. So I can have the incentive to have other forms of moral uprightness to be a better person in the society. So that is one incentive people have to buy. That is for the good guys, the guys which are out of order. So for the guys that already have some level of moral uprightness, they still have incentive to get more moral uprightness. Secondly, on the issue of people that are perceived bad, no matter how bad somebody is, there are still some characters, some traits people actually desire to have. So even the worst robbers still want to an extent to be trustworthy, to an extent to be morally upright in some instances. So even these people would have the incentive to buy some of these like moral virtues, moral uprightness, characters that the society terms as moral. So that is the incentive. So we think that when government sees somebody dead and government identifies that person as having moral virtues, it is legitimate for government to harvest and sell and make the society a better place. On that note, proudly